Can South Africa still meet its climate targets? The transition is not just slowing, it is drifting off track relative to climate targets. South Africa made a promise to the world to move away from coal and cut its emissions. But today, many of its aging coal power stations are staying open longer than planned. So the question is the country's climate commitment slipping out of reach? At the COP26 Climate Summit, South Africa secured an $8.5 billion pledge through the Just Energy Transition Partnership. The goal was to accelerate the shift from coal to cleaner energy, while protecting workers and communities. At home, the 2019 Integrated Resource Plan laid out a roadmap to gradually decommission coal plants and replace them with renewables. On paper, the transition was underway, but the reality tells a different story. Data from Power Tracker shows coal still dominates South Africa's electricity system, making up roughly 75 to 80% of generation. Several power stations that were meant to shut down are now being kept online. Plants like Camden, Hendrina, and Kendall power stations have all seen delays in their decommissioning timelines. Instead of declining, coal remains the backbone of the grid.
We're a very coal-dependent economy, so 80% of our power comes from burning coal. There's a huge set of coal-related value chains, lots of workers, so about 100,000 workers employed in coal.
There are several reasons behind this slowdown. South Africa's grid infrastructure is struggling to connect new renewable projects, especially in areas where solar and wind resources are strongest. At the same time, ongoing energy shortages have made energy security a top priority.
Grid constraints are a genuine technical reality in South Africa right now. Projects that are worth billions of rands are effectively stranded, despite having that capital which is available.
Simply put, there isn't yet enough reliable alternative capacity to replace coal. And while renewable projects are being approved, the rollout has been slower than expected. South Africa's climate targets, known as its nationally determined contributions under the Paris Agreement, depend on reducing emissions this decade. Delays in shutting down coal plants put those targets at risk.
The IRP 2025 explicitly extends the coal plant lifetimes in direct opposition to the decarbonization pathway that South Africa's own climate commitments require. So our report states this clearly. Extending coal makes the NDC targets harder to achieve and is definitely going to lock in higher emissions from one of the country's most straightforward sectors that needs to decarbonize.
They also raise questions about the country's credibility on the global stage and could affect future climate financing. The transition hasn't stopped, but it is slowing, and time may be running out to get it back on track.